Upon hearing Ziyan's words, Xiaoyan and his group were taken aback, their gazes following her direction. However, they only saw an endless stretch of forest, with no other unusual signs. Xiaoyan's face showed a thoughtful expression. Ziyan wouldn't suddenly have such a feeling. As an ancient boy dragon, such a mysterious existence, not to mention him, even Yao Lao probably didn't fully understand. As for the mysterious call Ziyan spoke of, perhaps only she could perceive it. What should we do? The roars of magical beasts in this ancient forest are getting denser. It seems we've attracted quite a few strong individuals. Little fairy doctor asked, looking at Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan frowned, glancing at Ziyan, whose gaze was fixed on the depths of the forest. After a moment, he finally nodded decisively, and said in a deep voice, "Let's go take a look. Since we've entered a treasure mountain, we naturally have to see the real treasures. Other treasure hunters don't have the dragon might to deter beasts, so it won't be easy for them to reach the center. We still have plenty of time." Seeing Xiaoyan nod, a smile appeared on Ziyan's usually blank face. She tapped the ground with her toes, and her body flashed into the depths of the forest. Seeing this, Xiaoyan and the others quickly followed. The aura of the magical beasts in the forest beyond the lake was undoubtedly much fiercer than outside. There were even a few auras that made Xiaoyan and the others look serious. Fortunately, with Ziyan's dragon might, although those auras sensed their presence, they hesitated and gradually retreated. In their memories, the owners of such dragon might were extremely troublesome existences, best avoided. Of course, having lived in this ancient forest for who knows how long, they didn't realize that the owner of this dragon might was just a juvenile ancient boy dragon. Nevertheless, in this dangerous forest, Xiaoyan and his group fortunately didn't encounter too many obstacles. After traversing the forest for nearly 10 minutes, their speed gradually slowed down. The surrounding auras have completely disappeared. Stepping into a certain area, little fairy doctor suddenly seemed to notice something, and whispered. Hearing this, Xiaoyan's expression also changed slightly. After a brief sensing, he indeed found that the fierce auras he had detected earlier had completely vanished. What's going on? Qin Huazuns also frowned, a look of vigilance on his face. In this kind of place, if one wasn't careful, they might be left here forever as fertilizer for plants. Don't worry, this is already the center of the ancient forest, Ziyan said softly, her gaze fixed on a flat area not far ahead. It was a patch of green grass, with nothing unusual. This made Xiaoyan and the others wonder if this was the place calling to Ziyan. Ziyan floated down from a tree trunk and walked slowly across the ground for about 10 steps. Then, with a serious expression, she reached out her small hand. Just as her hand touched the empty space half a foot in front of her, a golden light suddenly appeared out of thin air. Xiaoyan and the others, watching the sudden golden light, were also somewhat astonished. The golden light was shaped like an inverted bowl, round at the top and bottom, covering an area of about 10 zhang. Although the golden light was dazzling, it was obscured by the dense trees, making it impossible to detect unless one was very close. What is this? Xiaoyan and the others flashed to Ziyan's side, looking at the golden light shield in front of them with solemn expressions. From this mysterious golden light shield, they felt a sense of suppression. This feeling made them realize that even if they joined forces, they probably couldn't break this strange golden light shield. This is a beast spirit shield. Only magical beasts with extremely powerful strength before their death can condense such a beast spirit shield, Ziyan said, gently stroking the light shield, a hint of sadness on her face. Xiaoyan was silent. Since this thing was calling to Ziyan, it meant that the owner of the beast spirit shield was likely also a member of the ancient boy dragon clan. Something's not right. Ziyan stroked the light shield and her expression suddenly changed. This beast spirit shield not only has the aura of an ancient boy dragon, but also a hint of the Tianya Phoenix clan. But this aura is much purer than that of the current Tianya Phoenix clan. Hearing this, Xiaoyan and the others exchanged glances. Could there be an ancient heavenly phoenix that died here as well? Why don't we open it and see? Xiong Zhan, standing to the side, scratched his head. Ziyan nodded slightly. Since they had come here, they had to go in and take a look. She bit her slender jade finger, and a strand of golden blood appeared at her fingertip. She gently touched the beast spirit shield, then drew a golden blood mark. This kind of beast spirit shield can only be opened by those with the same bloodline. As the golden blood mark was drawn, the area rapidly fluctuated. Then, the golden light shield rippled, and a golden crack slowly tore open. Let's go. Seeing this, Ziyan waved her hand and stepped in. Xiaoyan and the others hesitated for a moment, then followed. As the last person entered the beast spirit shield, the golden light rippled, and the crack quickly disappeared. The moment they stepped into the beast spirit shield, Xiaoyan and the others' vision blurred. The lush forest instantly vanished, replaced by a desolate plain. The plain was quite large, filled with red sand that looked like it had been stained with blood. Amidst the red, there were occasional patches of ash-like white. Looking into the distance, they saw 100-zhong-high ancient stone altar in the center of the plain. A faint sense of majesty emanated from the altar, causing the Doji and Xiaoyan and the others' bodies to stagnate. What a terrifying pressure! Xiaoyan and the others exchanged glances, seeing shock in each other's eyes. Just relying on pressure could make them feel like this. How terrifying was the owner of the pressure? As soon as Ziyan entered, her gaze was fixed on the stone altar. After a moment of thought, she tapped the ground and flew towards the altar, seemingly unaffected by the pressure. Seeing Ziyan's actions, Xiaoyan and the others quickly followed. After a moment, they landed on the stone altar. Coming into close contact with the massive stone altar, an ancient, vicissitude-filled aura washed over them, making Xiaoyan and the others slightly compose themselves. Xiaoyan and the others were in the middle of the altar. Looking up, they could see stone steps extending to the top. Ziyan stared blankly at the top of the steps. The feeling of being called was getting stronger. Who? Taking a deep breath, Ziyan's face became unusually serious. She stumped her foot on the ground and turned into a streak of light, darting up the steps. In a few flashes, she appeared at the top of the altar. Xiaoyan and the others followed closely. When they reached the top of the altar, they saw Ziyan's shocked face. Following her gaze, they saw a gold-purple stone platform in the center of the altar. On the platform, there was a half-foot-sized groove. In the groove, a sapling grew from the platform. The sapling, no thicker than a thumb, coiled like a dragon. At the top of the sapling, a fruit hung. The fruit was about the size of a palm, gold-purple in color. Looking closely, they saw that the golden half, twisting and turning, was a miniature ancient boy dragon, while the purple half was a phoenix. Yes, it was indeed a heavenly phoenix. Although it was slightly different from the images Xiaoyan had seen, he could recognize the general shape. A fruit with the miniature forms of an ancient boy dragon and a heavenly phoenix? Looking at the extremely strange fruit, Xiaoyan and the others exchanged glances, completely baffled. With his knowledge of herbs, he had never heard of such a rare treasure. It seems the pressure is coming from the fruit? Little fairy doctor whispered, her voice filled with disbelief. Hearing this, Xiaoyan and the others were shocked. They realized that the pressure filling the area was indeed coming from the strangely shaped dragon phoenix fruit. This is the dragon phoenix origin fruit, only mentioned in the ancient records of the dragon clan. That phoenix is not a heavenly phoenix, but their ancestor, the ancient heavenly phoenix. This fruit has less than a 10% chance of appearing, requiring the life force of both an ancient boy dragon and an ancient heavenly phoenix. Even in the records of the dragon clan, the dragon phoenix origin fruit has only appeared 5 times, and this is the 6th. Ziyan stared blankly at the legendary dragon phoenix origin fruit. After a moment, she suddenly turned around, standing at the top of the altar, looking down at the vast plain. Only then did she notice that the white patches in the red earth faintly outlined the skeletons of an extremely large dragon and phoenix. The massive skeletons connected head to tail, forming a perfect circle that enclosed the plain. The stone altar was located precisely in the center of this circle. As Ziyan stared in shock at the skeletons below, Xiaoyan and the others also noticed them. Gasps of cold air echoed as they took in the scene. An ancient void dragon and an ancient heavenly phoenix, supreme magical beasts that existed almost solely in legends, had actually appeared in this place. Even though they were just skeletons, they were enough to shake the minds of those who saw them. No wonder the dragon phoenix origin fruit appeared. It turns out an ancient void dragon and an ancient heavenly phoenix fell here. Xiaoyan murmured. The ancient heavenly phoenix and the ancient void dragon are both supreme beings in the magical beast realm, yet they are also inherently incompatible, fighting at the mere sight of each other. They must have fought a fierce battle and both sustained fatal injuries, leading to their demise here, Ziyan explained softly. However, the life aura of the ancient heavenly phoenix is clearly weaker than that of the ancient void dragon. Otherwise, this beast spirit shield would have been dominated by the heavenly phoenix's aura. Xiaoyan nodded slightly and looked at Ziyan. What do you plan to do now? The dragon phoenix origin fruit was clearly an extremely important item. Even Xiaoyan, with his vast experience, had never heard of such a thing, so he didn't know what to do. The dragon phoenix origin fruit must be taken. If it falls into the hands of the Tianya Phoenix clan, they could evolve a true supreme beast with both dragon and phoenix bloodlines, posing a threat to the ancient Void Dragon clan, Ziyan said with a serious face. Hearing this, Xiaoyan's expression turned solemn. He was clearly at odds with the Tianya Phoenix clan. The stronger they became, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. Then let's take it quickly. Ziyan nodded and quickly turned around, ready to act. However, her expression suddenly changed. She sensed a violent spatial fluctuation, and numerous auras were surging in. This change was naturally noticed by Xiaoyan and the others. They looked towards the source of the fluctuation, and their hearts sank. A crack had been torn open in the beast spirit shield, and a group of people, like wolves and tigers, rushed in. Upon closer inspection, it was the Tianya Phoenix clan. The newcomers, including Feng Qing'er, looked around in confusion before their gazes landed on the altar in the center of the plain. Being in the air, they immediately saw the dazzling, strange fruit on the altar. Their expressions instantly turned blank. Dragon Phoenix origin fruit? The stunned silence was broken by a shocked scream. Hearing this, the white-haired man beside Feng Qing'er also changed his expression. He stared blankly at the top of the altar, his eyes filled with a frenzied, burning desire. After Feng Qing'er's scream, Ziyan's face turned cold, and she withdrew her hand. Taking the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit required a complicated process, and they couldn't focus with these uninvited guests. Who? Xiaoyan took a deep breath and looked at the newcomers. Let's prepare to fight. He knew that since Feng Qing'er and the others recognized the Dragon Phoenix origin fruit, they wouldn't give up easily. A bloody battle was inevitable. Hearing this, the others nodded slowly. Xiongzhang cracked his large knuckles and grinned fiercely. Good. My bloodline makes me dislike these bird-like creatures anyway. Xiaoyan, take your people and leave the altar immediately, or you'll be buried here today. Feng Qing'er's eyes flashed with cold light as she shouted. Xiaoyan glanced at her, but ignored her. He scanned the group, and his brows furrowed slightly. Among them were Thunder Venerable from Feng Lei Pavilion, and the leaders of the Earth Tiger and Silver Moon Wolf clans, whom he had seen on the mountain peak. These two were genuine two-star Dozun experts. Besides them, there was the white-haired man and an old man in black robes. Xiaoyan had already seen the former in action, and he had just noticed the latter. This old man was clearly powerful. His hidden aura was no weaker than the others. In total, they had 5 Dozun experts, a formidable lineup. 5 Dozun. Xiaoyan rubbed his fingers together. After some quick calculations, he relaxed slightly. Their lineup wasn't weak, but with the Heavenly Demon Puppet and the 10 puppets he had just obtained, they could hold off 6 Dozun experts. While the opponents had many peak Dozun experts, they weren't a significant threat. Little wench, you have a big mouth. If you want to steal something, you'll have to get past me first. Xiongzhan roared with a fierce grin, his body rapidly expanding until he was a 10-meter-tall giant. His terrifying aura spread out, causing the faces of those below Dozun to change. So, it's an ancient dragon bear. Relying on a bit of dragon bloodline, you dare to be arrogant here. You're overestimating yourself. The white-haired man glanced at the massive Xiongzhan and sneered. How about this? A cold voice rang out as little fairy doctor and Tianhuazun stepped forward, floating in the air outside the altar. Their vast auras, at the peak of 3-star Dozun, erupted without reservation, causing the space to tremble slightly. Do you think we don't have Dozun experts here? Thunder Venerable sneered and stepped forward with the leaders of the Earth Tiger and Silver Moon Wolf clans, their powerful auras clashing without yielding. The atmosphere instantly became tense. Xiaoyan remained expressionless. He glanced at the menacing Thunder Venerable and the others, flipped his finger, and the dark golden Heavenly Demon Puppet appeared. Then, he waved his hand, and 10 Earth Demon Puppets appeared in the air, their gold and silver lights intertwining, dazzling the eyes. The appearance of the 11 puppets made even Thunder Venerable and the others twitch. They had witnessed the power of the 10 puppets before entering the ruins. Combined, they could rival a 2-star Dozun expert. Today, I want to see who can snatch anything from this altar.